Hello there, my name is Stella and I'm a third year English student at the University of Oxford. So in this podcast I'll be talking about the backstory of why I was interested in researching and writing about the Jaffna Library and the importance of books in general in post-conflict Sri Lanka. As an English student, I'm really passionate about books and how they have a real importance in society, which is something that people try to downplay or mock, but I think they really do. And for me, reading is a really important part of finding and creating my own personal identity and also relating myself to a wider literary and cultural context. So reading is really this way not just to access the self, but also the language, history and literature of your own culture and other cultures, connecting you to a wider global and regional context. This is especially important for people in post-conflict societies because this is often places where people's heritage and culture has been partially destroyed and lost in war. So it's really a really important way to connect back to their heritage and culture, and I think that reading is a really key way to do this. So I'm also interested in bibliotherapy, which is something I've looked at for my degree in this last term. And bibliotherapy is a relatively new and emerging psychotherapeutic practice where books, literary characters and situations, your own writing as well, but also just reading literature is used by therapists to help their patients find out about themselves and their own inner lives, and also to create a positive outlook on the future and how to narrate their own lives and make sense of their own lives in the past and also going forwards. And intriguingly, there were links to bibliotherapy when I started looking at the connections of books and post-conflict societies and Sri Lanka, which really in hindsight makes perfect sense, because bibliotherapy is all about identity through books, and which is what is really important in a post-conflict context. So when I was tasked with writing about a post-conflict issue, I was really immediately drawn to the idea of finding out about reading and if it was an important part of rebuilding community and identity. And I really wanted it to be, and it turns out it is, which is great. And what kept coming up was the Jaffna Library in northern Sri Lanka. So I didn't really know very much about the Sri Lankan Civil War, and so I was curious to find out more. And when I was researching for my article, I found out that the Sri Lankan Civil War was really long. It lasted from 1983 till 2009, and it was between the Sinhalese majority, who were mainly in charge of the government, and they tend to be Buddhist, and then there was a kind of insurgent Tamil group who tend to be Hindu, and so the Tamil group is a lot smaller. They're the minority, and they have cultural, linguistic and religious differences. But rather than just being a clash of cultures and ethnicities, there's been some post-colonial analyses of the Civil War that suggest that it was actually in a post-British imperialism context that the two groups were had this power struggle because both of them were looking to regain the power that they had before British rule. And now in post-conflict Sri Lanka, the Tamil people are still displaced. Their cultural, linguistic and Hindu landmarks are still kind of overruled by the Sinhalese and Buddhist majority. But there are places like the Jaffna Library which are resurrecting these cultural identities and bringing life back to the languages and religions of the Tamil people. So in my article I delve into the Jaffna Library as both a symbol and an instrument of rebuilding the Tamil identity after the Civil War. So it's a symbol because it was rebuilt twice after being destroyed in the war, representing how the Tamil language, culture and religion has survived despite all the attempts to destroy it. But the Jaffna Library is also an actual instrument in bringing about this resurgence of the Tamil identity, because it was a place that stored lots of Tamil literature, religious writing, cultural history, a lot of which was destroyed, but a lot of which was also saved, and people can now visit today. And the library also provides a variety of services like book exhibitions, book launches on different days, and they have special facilities for patients and disabled people. They have training programs, language learning, resources for counselling centres, and also a mobile library service for orphanages, which some articles, which are linked in my article, have all been related to the idea of bibliotherapy, because they're using books to provide services to people who really need them, and are using them to reconstruct their sense of self and also their sense of culture and identity as a people. So in this way, the Jaffna Library is super important to the Tamil people in a similar, though much more important and large-scale way to how reading is important to me, my friends, my family, and other people around me who love books. So yeah, I go into more detail in the article, but the Jaffna Library facilitates the 7 human needs. So in the Jaffna Library, the Tamil Sri Lankans are offered a place of security where they can go to find solace and self-care. They can also get a better understanding of themselves and the world around them through reading about their culture and their history and their language. And they create this feeling of connection as they read alongside others and also about others in literature, linking it to bibliotherapy. They participate in a community of readers and people from their own culture. It creates a sense of self-direction as they learn to shape their own lives by reading about others, which links to bibliotherapy and learning how to narrate your own story by reading about the stories of others in literature. And it also creates self-transcendence, as they can have a spiritual connection through the religious writings from their culture. So yeah, thank you for listening, and my hope is that after listening to this podcast, you have a better understanding of why reading and libraries are important for people of all backgrounds, to curate a sense of identity. And I hope that that you want to read and find out more about yourself and different cultures as well, because reading is a really underrated way of having that sort of therapeutic experience and delving deep into yourself and also creating empathy for others. But then in particular as well, I hope that you've learnt how the Tamil people are recovering their personal and cultural identity after the Civil War, and how the Jaffna Library in particular is a place that encourages Tamil Sri Lankans to connect with their culture and with their inner individual selves through reading.